Let's try that. Yes, there we go. My mic was, as usual for Windows, disconnected. I don't know why they always do that. Anyway, we're back. Episode 10 of Season of Ghosts. Welcome, everyone. As we get back into things here, I do have to announce that I will be away next week on a vacation. So, obviously, won't have a stable connection from the cruise ship to run this. So, yeah. No session next week. Beyond that, we should be back to a normal schedule, but being said, I don't think I have anything else to say. Let's do the recap. Any takers?
As usual, I can handle it unless somebody else wants the points today. Sounds like I'm in. Okay.
Sounds like it.
Okay, notes. All right, so we had come to the lumber camp that was kind of west of town in order to find villagers that had been taken away by faceless monsters. And I don't really recall exactly what like the official name of them is, but they're faceless monster, like humanoid people.
Nopperabo.
And yeah, awesome. Well, we were told that the son of the stable owner was still missing, and by the stable keeper, who was locked away in isolation. And the faceless were calling his son an old soul and useful for some kind of ritual, which kind of terrified us. We vowed to find him. But before we left there, we found the remaining faceless occultists who had been disguising themselves as villagers, and we defeated them. They had an altar to their dark god, surrounded by candles, and we stamped them out and rushed off to the north, following a lead to find the ritual site the next morning before anything could happen. And there we found an occultist leader of these faceless who was in the process of doing a ritual that would, well, probably sacrifice the sun in order to bring their dark god presumably out of the mist wall that was before us, which was kind of surrounding the old monastery, the old abandoned monastery. Well, to save the sun and fight off any ghostly things that were starting to come out of this thing. And that pretty much took the whole session, didn't it? Was there anything else?
That's pretty much it. I think we may have ended off with you guys returning to the town. I just have us on the screen because, well, this is where most of what happened last time ended up occurring. But I'm pretty sure that you guys did make it back, because on this map here, I think we have your token all the way back to the town. Yes. And
It sounds right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. For the purposes of things, I think also that was another day passing, as you guys went from the lumber camp there and then all the way back home. Dealing with all of that took another day. So, at the moment, it is Sunday. Every other weekday in Galarian has a different word for it, but Sunday is still Sunday because there's still the sun. And on this Sunday, where people aren't doing too much work, taking the time to rest after, well, so many tribulations have occurred in the town. It again has only been about 2 weeks since the first day of summer when the attack on the town occurred and wiped out a quarter to even a third of the town's population. Still many people are missing, presumed dead. People are finding bodies and wreckages of buildings here and there, and, well, cleanup is still progressing, and it is progressing slowly. At least, though, at this point, the town is presumably safe. You've dealt with those Nopperabo, the leader of the assaulter, the leader of the warlike group, and the leader of the zealotry group. that group being the one that kidnapped the stable hands and took them away that you had to save. Now, after having explored a lot of the hinterlands and mapping out where the edge of the wall is, you are pretty certain that there's no organized sort of foe against the town. And now maybe in these muggy summer months you have some time yourselves to rest, rebuild your own lives, and help the town as well in all those endeavors. So, we'll start at the beginning of the next day after those events on this Sunday morning. We'll start with you all gathering up, as you usually have, center of the town, right next to the Eternal Lantern. I'm going to change the audio here as well. This is no longer tentative mystery music. You do recall, though, that there were a few things that are still some loose ends, some smaller issues, that being the missing boats from the docks, and the situation with all of the, well, the now again destroyed stable that still needs to be fully fixed, and all the cattle and horses and such need to be returned to their fences. And of course you guys also heal, because that fight did a number on you. You were able to make it back to town and, you know, roll through your medicine checks to get back to full health for the start of the day. Still maybe limping here and there, feeling the scrapes and scars that are starting to, well, collect on your bodies after the tribulations of the past 2 weeks. Now you have a chance for calm.
And thank goodness, too. I was starting to worry we would never get calm again. You know what I want to do, though? I really want to take care of those livestock.
Yeah, we should take care of it.
You get some free days and you immediately spend it trying to help the people around town. You're impossible, Yuga.
What else am I going to do?
Exactly. I agree with Yuga. I can't just sit around and do nothing. I need to be doing something.
Usually I would preoccupy myself with a good book at this moment, but I suppose I'll have no choice but to help you all.
I mean, I promised my help already. It would be very rude to go back on that.
You're not wrong.
I want to check up on them anyways.
You guys heading to the stable today?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh wait, there's 2 party tokens. This one that was here. So, you do return to the Willowshore stables, and you find Kumsun Chong and Kumming Sung, the son that you had saved. They're both doing well enough. They're, you know, banged up, bruised, especially the father, who got worse treatment, actually, than the son, who was supposed to be the sacrifice. But stubborn as many of the mules that they house here, they're right back to work in the morning, realizing how important this place is for the rest of the town. As you guys arrive, they see you, you see them. Ah, our heroes arrived again.
We're really just villagers like anybody else.
Well, you were. I never even knew your names before this all started. But now, seems the elders have taken a liking to you. And it seems they've placed a certain amount of responsibility on you that I can't exactly argue was a bad idea after you saved me and my son's life. Take it in stride, but remain humble, of course.
We can try.
Nevertheless, we still do need help returning those cattle. You are among some of the best, trappers and, well, not really trappers, but trackers, yes, of the town, and, well, those elves of the Silver Mist Lodges, they're more busy in hunting game for, well, our survival at this point. Much of our food storage was destroyed in the aftermath of the attack.
Shugo did teach me a lot. So the two of us together, I imagine we can do a lot of really good tracking together.
I think you're even better than me at this point.
There's not nonsense. I'm sure you've been doing this much longer than all of your statue for a while, though.
It's a little different when you are a statue compared to when you are not. Anyway, shall we split up the same way we did before? With Bowsen and Lydon helping repair the fences.
Of course.
Of course.
Okay.
Unless you want to help with the animals.
I feel like if I were to help, they would run further from the farm than towards it.
Well, that is my job.
So, with your jobs agreed upon, those of you who are helping fix the stables and fences and such, roll me crafting checks, and those helping try to return some of the livestock, roll survival checks.
Okay.
Starting off strong.
So
Very
just
strong.
add to one up me.
Would terrain expertise for us help with this?
Yeah, we will say, well, yeah. If you can add the standard bonus to that. Though, of everyone in the party are a little bit more distracted. You've been more focused on fighting for the town's survival and all of that. Now, being relegated to cattle duty is a little bit less attractive to your mind. Nevertheless, the rest of your party does heavily make up for it. All of you critically succeed. Of course, the add-on is with natural 20, but the 27, 28 are both well above the DC. So for the purposes of it, the fences, you two put together this excellent plan of, like, revitalizing, making it more efficient even to put it all together, using old lumber that you found here and there. It's just a perfect symphony of fence construction. The fences are done by the end of the day, in fact. Yuga,
Congratulations.
you're able to find and sort of like commune, or at least your passion for the animals helps you a lot. You're really nice to them. A lot of them are able to sort of feel safe around you, and you come, or they come with you. So much of the work is done, though they still report that maybe a little less than half of them are remaining out there. It might take another day of work to really finish that up.
I don't know what it is about me, but everything just seems to run away when I try to find them.
I can't imagine why. Although, perhaps we could paint you with more appealing colors?
What's wrong with the color that I am?
Maybe a softer, gentle blue.
Why don't we just paint him in the same colors as the castle? If they think he's one of them, then surely that'll help.
Is not a bad idea.
Now, I am not agreeing to this. Do you know how long it takes for paint to come off of things?
Things, yes. You're not a thing.
It's kind of a thing.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
But
No, I don't believe I will be painted as a cow. I'm sorry.
With that shut down, another day passes, and we're going to zoom out a little bit from the direct roleplay, just because we're in more of a downtime territory of many weeks or even months passing by pretty shortly for us. So, with that being said, you all don't have to be in the same spot at once. There is a little bit more cattle work to do, but with the fences fixed, Leodon and Baozin, you have time to yourselves to maybe figure something else out. Baozin, you do remember that, well, some of your friends over in the harbor district did have those missing boats, or that missing boat problem going on.
Yes, we need to check in on that. The Kappa did vow to return those boats, but knowing Kappas, I'm sure they may have forgotten.
Either way, it seems we might have forgotten to check up on that up until now. We should probably hurry.
Maybe they make others forget too.
It's not like we really had a whole lot of time.
I'm sure we could have delayed saving the town at least 1 or 2 days.
Surely.
That would have been an idea, certainly.
The other is grinning.
So what is each of you doing today?
Checking at the harbor to see if the boats were returned or not.
I'm probably gonna help Bowden out with that.
Okay, you two go in that direction. Shugo and Yuga, same thing?
Keep working on helping the ranch or the stables.
Do you think you need my help, or should I go somewhere else?
I'm sure I can find them eventually.
Okay.
Very well. I suppose I might as well, maybe see if I can do some duties at the cathedral.
All right.
There's been a lot of stuff that happened. A lot of people that probably need services and rights.
So for the purposes of it, Yuga, this will count towards one of your earn income days. We'll probably get to a point where we're doing a longer series of earn income rather than day by day. So we'll just remember that you took today to do that and add it on to your totals. But for now, Shugo, let's start with your survival check. So you head back to the ranch one more time. Not allowing
Maybe
this.
we can finish this.
Yes, not allowing it to be undone.
Surely I'm not completely cursed.
Not completely. 19 is definitely going to be a success for you. You find a few more, but your manner isn't as great as Yuga's. You're more forceful in trying to get them back. And there's just a few more that need to return, that they still think are probably out there somewhere. It takes you 8 hours, of course, so that's your day. Head on and bows in. You head over to the docks, the fisheries, and all that, and you do find that the boats are still gone. The two sort of rowboats that were stolen haven't made their own way back here. You're gonna have to go and get them yourselves. So what is the plan? Do we lose both of them?
I think they're gone.
I'm
I'm here.
Oh, I'm talking about you both.
The docks. I'm checking in at the docks.
Yeah, I just did that. I just told you that they haven't found the boats. They have not returned of their own volition.
Okay, we're gonna have to check in on those Kappas. They owe us. As for the rest of the day, I guess I could do an earned income of crafting.
Okay, we'll remember that for adding on to that. Leodon, what are you doing?
That's a very good question. Guessing it's probably too late to head out to check up on the campus.
No, it's actually the start of the day.
Okay, then I'll probably head out and check up.
Okay. You
Letting
remember?
the party further.
Yeah. You remember that the lake where the Kappas are is just down the river from you. You could walk or commandeer a boat. Up to you.
Yeah, he's gonna walk.
So, as the rest of you stay in town, Leodon takes the day to head towards those Kappas over in the Gourd Lake. It's a few hours hike to the east, but eventually you make it there, especially after you've cleared the treacherous trail that cuts through the forest here. And let me get rid of these, this rain. There we go. No more rain. In fact, it shouldn't be the whole token, it should be just Leodon. There you are. And as you make it up to Gourd Lake, the scene before you is almost like nothing is wrong in this region. The Kappas are sort of lounging on the shore of the lake. Many have like those what do you call those? Those bowls in their head, sort of carefully balanced to make sure that water isn't falling out of it. They're basically turtle people, besides that weird water that they don't like to remove from their heads. It helps them balance in a way. And they're lounging about. You do see younger looking ones though, seemingly wrestling each other atop two boats lashed to each other just a little bit out in the water, as the older generation sort of watch on and lounge in the sun.
Leodon is gonna try to get the attention of some of the older Kappas.
It's easy enough.
Waving from the shore, basically.
Well, as you're on the shore, they're on the shore too, lounging on some of the beach sand and rock here. You get the attention of one or two of them. And in fact, it is one of the ones that you met earlier in town that ate some of the horses and decided to take a dip after in your town's hot springs. Oh, I remember you. I didn't talk to you much, but you were with the nice bird man, weren't you?
And I was. I was with him when we gave you those nice cucumbers.
Yes, cucumbers.
I hope they very tasty.
Well, you know they're 98% water or something like that. I don't know what a percentage is, but that's what some traveler told me about it, who was very interested in science, whatever that is. That being said, what are you doing here?
Well, I'm here to investigate a pair of boats that have gone missing from our town, and sort of like tilts to the side to look around the Kappa. I think that might be them in the middle of the lake there.
Oh, yeah, well, we figured since a lot of you people kind of died, you didn't need as many boats anymore. And the boats are really nice for us to lounge in and bask in the sun out in the water.
Unfortunately, while there was a decently high death toll, it seems that most of the boats are still needed at home. At least these boats are, since their owner is still alive, unfortunately.
Oh, is that so? Well, I do realize that the youngsters stole them. We were just kind of hoping you wouldn't come looking after them, and I guess you did. How about this? We can get the youngsters to give them up to you, easily. But they're just going to go and steal them again, I'd be sure of it. Since it was so easy to steal them the first time. You need to teach them a lesson.
Ugh, I'm not exactly the assertive kind, so why don't I just build you your own set of boats?
Build us a set of boats? I mean...
No, just two boats for you to as you said, lounge and bask in.
Oh, that would only reward what these kids did. No, I think you can do it. You look pretty strong. See them wrestling out there? How about you show them how tough you and your villagers are?
Oh no. Well, I am quite tough. Thank you for noticing. I'll try it and show them that we're not to be messed with.
Yeah,
Sort of puffs out his chest.
you don't need to do too much. Just, well, do some sumo wrestling. Here, look. And he picks up a stone that's sort of like a stone bowl. Balance this on your head. And of course, we got our own bowls on our heads. Whoever loses our water first, well, they lose.
Sounds easy enough.
Head on out there to the boats. Wrestle that kid down.
Leodon takes the bowl and, well, I suppose I'll have to swim out, won't I?
Yep.
Fair enough. I'll be back in a moment after I shove this young Kappa off his boat.
Yeah, go for it.
Leodon looks very unsure over as he approaches the edge of the lake and jumps in and starts swimming.
It's an easy enough swim in these parts. A very calm lake here. You swim out to the two boats lashed together, and well, you see one of the youngsters sort of take the lead, the other sort of diving into the water. Hey, what are you doing here? These are our boats.
Yeah, well, I was sent here by the village to teach you folks a lesson for stealing them.
Teach us a lesson? You're too stupid to keep hold of your boats. Come here.
He tries to grapple at you. I need an athletics check.
Oh no.
Okay. However, as you hold the bowl on top of your head as the other Kappa required of you, and many of them look on at this scene before them, the Kappa sort of lurches forward, and you're able to, sort of using some of your intellectual technique, flip them onto their side and onto their back, and send that water from their head reeling out, which immediately seemingly sends a Kappa into a daze, sort of this stupor where they're off balance. It's sort of basically their balancing system. Water up there. And as he's sent down, the other onlookers dive back into the water, and the one that you send to the ground just looks up at you.
Are you all that tough? How'd you do that?
Well, I have my secrets. I'm not telling you because, well, if I do tell you, you'll have an easier time stealing the boats again.
Well, mister, look, we're not gonna... point taken, we're not gonna steal the boats, okay? You can take these back.
Oh. Thank you very much. I'll be taking those then. You might need this though. And he takes the bowl off from his head and pours its contents into the Kappa's head.
Alright, that's a lot better, thank you. I have to go and fight the elders for all the good sunbathing spots again.
He jumps into the water. And you now have two boats.
Well, Leodon tries to maneuver the boats back into town.
Okay. For the purpose of it, I'm not going to make you make an athletics check, but it is, it's slow going. You basically make it back to town by nightfall here. Eventually you do. Back up to the shore, back up to the docks, where The dockmaster, whatever they're called, the harbor master rather, is pleasantly surprised that you finally returned the missing boats. It would be who's this guy? Can I get to this guy? Oh yeah, Rajul Samudra, one of the other Nagaji in town here actually, is the harbor master of the Willowshore dock. Didn't expect that out of you. It's greatly appreciated.
Admittedly, I didn't expect to be the one delivering the boat either, but things simply aligned, and, well, I guess I was the most qualified to wrestle these, kappas.
I figured that dragon fellow would do most of that work, but so be it. You have Northridge's thanks. Even though we don't do much commerce anymore, we're still the main fishers of this town, and town's getting hungry after what happened. So, thank you. We'll remember it.
I don't mention it. It's the least I can do to keep the town fed.
With that being said, he takes the boats away from you, off your hands, and for this, give yourselves 40 experience points.
Wahoo!
It's another day passing. On to Toil Day, Tuesday. At this point, much of the livestock has returned. You only need to do maybe one more search to get the final ones in check, and nothing else seems to be going on right now. Or at least immediately required of your attention, rather. So, for the purpose of it, Shugo, let's go see if you can finish up with the stables. Roll me a survival.
Try again.
One more time. Just barely missing the critical, but still succeeding enough to find the rest of the lost cattle, lost horses, and all that, and return them to the stables. And with that, fences are built back up, stables are in their right order, livestock is returned. Kamsun Chong, the stable master, thanks you for your efforts over the course of this day, and again reminds you, we won't forget for what you've done, so whenever these walls go down, there's mists, whatever they are, if you need horses, just let us know. We'll be able to lend you some. I don't know how you're going to ride a horse, but...
There's carts, aren't there? We can just use a cart.
Ah, yes, of course. So, thank you. It's been a long day.
Shugo gives a little bow before he leaves.
With that, give yourselves 10 experience points. And these activities, sort of on the back end, are also tallying up some reputation points for Northridge and South Bank for you guys as well. So, not just experience points that is helping you here.
Goodwill is important.
Mm-hmm.
Goodwill, huh?
So, with that all said, Toil Day ends. We're, again, assuming the rest of the party isn't doing anything super specific. You might be earning income or something like that, so we'll just bank those days as well. It goes to the next day, Wheel Day, and this is about the time that you expect Asahina Shinzo, the mysterious merchant, to return to town after his, usual weekly departure. He has returned. Of course, with a strange bird that is always at his side as well. Raven, rather. He set up shop in the center of town.
Well, I'm definitely eager to go see him. For reasons.
I'll assume the rest of the party comes with, as
Of course.
he's a major mystery to you all, and you're all going to be there for it. find him once again in that same spot. Set up his carts. His wares are out for mundane stuff for the townspeople to, well, help them survive, and some imported luxuries for the richer folk in town. He's taking full advantage of the situation of being the only merchant who can bring things in from the outside, it seems. As you all arrive, he gives you all a nod from underneath his straw hat. Ah, you've returned. I think I'll be seeing you every time I come back to town here. How have things gone for you? Any news?
Reasonably well, all things considered. Those of us who survived, that is. We did take care of a very terrible threat to the village that was threatening to overrun it entirely. Another one, really.
Another one? And, well, give me all the details. What happened?
These faceless monsters were apparently the ones that abducted the three of us on the night of the festival. And, I guess they were stopped by... Huh.
You remember who stopped it?
Ugly cute.
It was Ugly Cute, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
My mind has been all over the place these past few days. Well, basically, it turned out that they were hiding out in the abandoned mill part of the West and abducting people to try to perform some kind of a terrible ritual sacrifice to bring... They believed it would bring their dark god out of the mists that surround the old monastery.
And pray tell, how did you approach the situation?
Poorly.
Poorly, what does that mean?
We kind of just marched straight up to them.
Ah, sort of headstrong. No sense of deception in your actions?
The life of the Stalemaster's son was on the line. There was no time for us to sit around and think of some sort of plan.
I am also not very good at deceiving people. You all might be somewhat surprised by that, but it is not one of my skills.
Well, in that case then, if that is what you'll be doing, you know, you're not much of a deceptive type, more front and center, headstrong, vengeful in your actions, or at least
No.
not vengeful. How shall we say, forthright in your yearning for justice, or something like that. I have something for you.
That sounds much better.
Here, have a look at this. As he places into your inventory, but of course, hands it to you. This cape I recently came across. And he folds out a red cape that, when it's in the shadows, seems very much more black, as the shadows are. There's this light red mandala pattern that resembles a shuriken, sort of plastered on its back as well. I feel as though one of you may make use of this. A gift, of course. After hearing about your exploits, I'm invested in the town's safety, and seeming as you're its protectors, this is an investment into you.
Oof.
Hmm.
You know of Ye Jing, don't you? The god of, well, vengeance. He's less like Calistria and more like when society has failed someone. and they take matters into their own hands, sort of a vigilantism. He is the god you worship for that. Though most who pray to a god as this see their justice differently than others do. Nevertheless, you don't need to be a worshipper of Jiajing to make use of it.
We appreciate the gift.
For the
Yes.
record, to the party, I already have a cloak myself, a magical cloak. And none of us have intimidation as a trained skill, so I suppose we'd just be looking at the activations at the two activations at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part.
Well, while you're all deliberating, I've also picked up another set of things as I was away. Certain things that might prove useful to you all. Here. Special shops just for you. Runes any, well, would-be hero could use, but also items that could aid you in your, well, more applied skills.
That would be useful.
Remember, I'll only be here for another 24 hours or so, but I will be back here on the dots every week, so if you don't have the money now or want to organize yourselves before buying anything, I'll be back next week and the week after that, and so on.
Of course. We'll look forward to your next visit as well.
And for our purposes, you guys don't have to time it necessarily. You have plenty of opportunities as the weeks and months go on in the summer here.
Do we want to sell that silver ingot that we have?
What if you need a silver weapon, though?
Fair enough.
I won't need one. I mean, worst case scenario, somebody can take this silver dagger, I guess. Oh shoot! We need to I have a magic dagger to see if there's any consecration or something we can do to it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Do you want more healing?
It would give me a bonus to medicine checks, which is not a
Yeah.
bad thing. Plus, one extra free heal. It's not amazing, but
I'm just looking at my skills to see if anything would be good.
Does Lydon have a +1 rune yet? Because we have a +1 battle axe that we could take the rune off of.
I don't believe he does. Could be useful.
Once he's back, we'll figure that out, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Can we distribute the money from the party inventory?
I would like you guys to do your sales first before I distribute.
It doesn't seem like we're selling anything.
Okay, I'll distribute.
Let me double check.
I think to really sell would be the silver ingot, and I think we're wanting to keep that to silver weapon.
Very well. Money has been distributed. And of course, remember, you guys have an opportunity, plenty of opportunity, in fact, to earn incomes. So we can probably fast forward this a little bit, because you're going to have more money. You're not going to lose the opportunity to buy anything. Let's do that first.
Yeah.
I'll probably be grabbing the +1 from the axe we have as soon as I figure out how much that would cost.
3.5 gold.
10% of the
that's
item's cost. But yeah, it's pretty cheap. So, whenever you confirm that you're doing that, write that in chat for me so I know you've done it and have deleted the 3.5 GP.
Mhm.
But, for the time being, nothing much is happening. Actually, no. There is one thing. We're going to skip forward a few guys. We're going to assume you guys are doing earned incomes, but we'll get to those earned incomes at the end of the month, kind of, as a few more things happen. First
Sounds
thing.
good to me.
You are, you do get in contact once more with Lewin Laws, the, law office of the town, and, Luo Ziyang, the, lawyer that is sort of the owner of the place, does present you with the finalized deed, in fact, to the Cerulean Tea House. After careful consideration, we did find that you are the sole party that was able to secure the will's conditions for gaining ownership of the tea house. There are no known relatives that also have acquired pearls from lakes, so it seems that nobody has any other claim but you. Of course, the place is going to need to be reconstructed, and since it was already derelict before the events of 2 weeks ago, it has not been a priority, to repair the place.
Oh, well, it's I'm sure we'll be able to get everything back in order.
Of course, but you're still going to need to work with others, contractors and stuff. You might be skilled, but you won't be able to build a house by yourself, or rebuild that place by yourself. Give it some
That's
time.
right. That's a fair point, yes.
I would say
But we
in
should-
a month or two, once the more important buildings are repaired and again all that wood is allocated for those repairs, then when we have a surplus of workers and resources, I think the town will be okay with you repairing the Cerulean Tea House. Right now, though, there's not a lot to go around.
What do you mean more important buildings? There's nothing more important than the tea house.
Oh, well,
There's a few that are a
people's
little more important.
homes and their businesses, farmhouses that produce the grain for the town. There are a lot more important things at the moment than a tea house, unfortunately.
The other just sulks.
But now that you guys have the deed to the Cerulean Tea House, give yourselves 20 GP for those pearls, as she just hands over 20 GP. This is the value of those pearls. I like them. I'm going to keep them.
I assume 20 GP just for light on.
I'm just gonna put it in party inventory.
Perfect.
It's party gold. And also gives you 40 experience points.
Ooh.
So you guys level up. We can go ahead and do that now, actually. No reason not to. You guys are pretty prepared as far as I know.
Already? Just casually taking 2 persistent damage spells that both depend on will saves.
It's most of occultism.
They're pretty cool spells, at least.
Mm-hmm.
If we fight anything with a decent will save, I'm dead.
Well, you can always find spells that'll support your allies in those situations too.
That's true.
Sounds like somebody's home now, though.
I was trying to time it, and I did so poorly.
And for the purpose of things, if you are finished with leveling up, move your token to the other side of the river, so we know. Pretty simple level up for Leodon.
I was prepared.
Mm-hmm.
I had my feat choices picked out ahead of time, but I'm like, oh, I should probably pick a new default spell for my second rank.
Magical crafting would have been an interesting feat. But I'm starting to think that maybe no, that's not worth it.
Yeah.
Hey Shugo, how much would you like a +2 to attack rolls?
Not enough for whatever the negative is.
Giggle.
Oh yeah, mutagen.
Which one is it this time?
Obviously the second tier, the bestial one. So penalty to reflex saves, acrobatics checks, and stealth checks.
You don't always use reflex saves. Alright, you guys all finished?
I believe so. I'll just stay with magical shorthand.
Okay.
I have no idea if magical crafting is worth it.
Are you expert in crafting?
No.
Then he's expert in crafting.
Hmm. So, after that, you guys have had an opportunity to rest and recuperate. And, well, you all realize that, well, you've helped with much of what you can for the moment. The town is still mostly just rebuilding, burying the dead, and all that. There's not other new issues arising, at least for the next few weeks. So, for the purposes of it, you guys can spend the next, 10, 14, we'll say 16 days. We'll add one onto Leodon. Actually, I think it would be Baozin and Yuga who have an extra day. I think Leodon and Shugo were still working one of those days.
Yep.
Sounds right.
So,
Yeah.
you guys can spend those downtime days however you wish. The baseline is, as of course, earn income. But if there are other things that you would do during that downtime, do let me know.
So 16 days for...
Shugo and Shugo and Leodon, 17 days for Baozin and Yuga, we'll say.
So Shugo's probably going to help with the reconstruction efforts a lot, helping haul lumber and whatnot.
Okay, we'll call it an athletics earn income. And you guys should have access to that macro. If you
Yep.
go into the compendium tab, is that where you find it? If you search earn income, yes, it should be the little coin stack. I'm level 4, athletics, success. You are paid 128 silver pieces or 12.8 gold. One around that.
I believe I did this right. I
Yep.
believe I rolled a 5.
I'm not sure why it didn't actually. Did you put in a number of days for that?
I put in 1.
Oh
that
no,
wrong?
you should have put in the amount of days we talked about, the 17. Remember?
I'm an idiot.
Either way, we can just turn that 1 silver piece into 17 silver pieces for those days, unless you want to re-roll with a hero point. Up to you.
I'll re-roll it.
Okay.
'Cause that's a long time.
Redo the whole macro because right-clicking it won't actually run the macro.
Leodon is gonna serve some nice tea to the workers.
Okay.
Oh,
There we go.
So you
Success.
My tea lore.
Easy enough in this town.
I am gonna add that to my sheet.
Dang.
People seemingly are not ready for tea right now, Leodon. As much as you're trying to push it.
I'm sorry, level 13?
Yeah,
That
you,
was a bit too high, Scooby.
yeah, you should. You still rolled a natural 1, but I think I input it wrong anyway. A critical failure either way. Unless you want to reroll.
I'm re-rolling.
Okay. And Yuga, since of
Yeah.
course you would be working at the Lady of Souls Cathedral, roll your religion check for the rites of the passage of the individuals who fell during those opening
I'm
days
just
of summer.
I'm assuming that they're the ones that need me the most.
Yes, they certainly would use your help.
I am dissatisfied if I can do that hero point.
Yeah, you can. Mm-hmm.
Let me mark it before I do anything.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to pass the days until it gets to the next month.
That's better.
Much better. So, I trust you guys to pay out the proper amount to yourselves in your inventories as a new month arises, Erastus, sort of high summer, in the year 4608. And as you're all, well, doing this business of helping the town, you start to get a feel that the town is, after a whole month, beyond that attack, that town is healing. Buildings are fixed up. People are back in the fields working. People are back to their old crafts once more. It isn't just about survival, it's about going back to business as a sleepy town in the hinterlands of Shenmen. And at this point, things shift. With that shift, there are perhaps a few more opportunities that come your way. The first, actually, is, Leodon. You're approached after doing much of that, work handing out tea, selling tea here and there. You were, your supplier for the tea was, the Leshy Mountain Summit grass from the Leshy Salon. That's where they grow a lot of, teas and herbs and other stuff in town, specialized stuff like that. Though, they come to you today telling you, we're having a bit of trouble now. You see, we tried to increase our production of the teas, but it seems that some sort of blight is stunting the growth of it all. If we're going to have this operation expanded for the tea houses reopening, we're going to need to have this blight fixed. If any of you or your friends know anything about
taking care of plants. Send them by, please. We won't be able to supply you if it's not fixed.
We'll be right on that. I'm sure my friends will understand the importance of the matter. More importantly, I think one or two of us should be able to know something about blights and plants. I'm not much for plants, but I have people who can take care of that for me.
Of course, as long as they know broadly about nature, or even better yet, if they're a good farmer, it might help us a lot. We know our craft, of course, but we need an extra hand here. Or hands, if multiples of you know about these things.
Well, I'm sure we have hands to spare currently, so we'll be right there.
Okay. She rushes back to the salon.
And the Aldon informs his party members.
Can you summarize?
Well, the Leshies are having to deal with a blight attacking their plants, and we should probably take care of that before it either spirals out of control or before the tea house opens, because we won't be having any tea leaves for tea.
This is quite
Right.
dire then.
Indeed. So I kind of have to ask you folks to help me out with that, because I am hopeless with any sort of plans.
Doesn't hurt to go take a look. I may know a little bit.
Any sort of input is appreciated.
I'll have to see the crops though.
Of course. They're exactly where the Leshies are.
I would like to come as well. I don't know if I know much about plants, but if there's anything supernatural going on with it, I would definitely like to know.
Alright.
Well, anyone if anyone knows something about farming, that's certainly also going to be useful.
Well, I know some. I am a self-banker.
It's going to come in quite handy.
You who grew up in the south bank of Willowshore are not good at farming.
I mean, I am trained in farming. I'm just downplaying it. It's, you know.
Mhm. But as you guys arrive, you do realize that, well, for the start of it, you go over it with a lens of maybe this has anything to do with, the mushroom guys or anything like that. It does just seem to be a natural blight that maybe occurred in the aftermath of the attack, where they couldn't really catch up to it and started to run away on them. It's just going to have to be examined carefully, pruned, weeded, and rotated from tainted soil to fresh soil over the course of a few days, depending on how well you guys handle this. So I'm going to assume that this is your priority right now, to get this finished up. Each day, each attempt at this will take 8 hours, so it's a day-long downtime activity, basically.
I'm absolutely up for that.
And you can roll nature or farming lore to get going on this, which I think most of you have some ability to do.
Sure, will try to assess from what he knows about plants from Ibuki, maybe.
Absolutely. You spend a lot of time. Mm-hmm.
The other's going to bring what little book knowledge she has.
I might as well join.
Might as well, since you also have
And
training
match
in
that
nature.
highest check.
I am the only one in the group that does not have nature as a trained skill.
Mm-hmm. Shugo, Baozin, you both take just a more broad approach to things. It's easy enough to rotate everything, prune it, weed it, and that. Yuga, your knowledge of farming, because the DC is lowered for a lore skill than just the nature skill, you succeed on that 16 as well.
I'm so happy.
So, that gets you about, I would say, a third of the way on this first day, which is great progress at this point. We're going to say that you guys are continuing this day in and day out because Leodon very much wants this to be fixed. And you agree if you're going to be setting up the tea shop as your sort of main post, you need some tea for it. So go ahead and roll me those checks one more time. See where you get to on the next day.
Here we go. Yay, it's not worse.
Again, pretty good checks. Leodon, unfortunately, because the DC is higher on the broader check, that is a failure. But success on Baozin, success on Shugo, because the DC is 18, and you go as well with the farming lore. So another 3 points on that, basically, on the back end. You get 2/3 of the way there. Let's see what you do on the third day as you're finishing this up. Weeding, pruning, all of that.
My
Getting
big
to know
money,
the
big
Leshies
money,
a little
big
bit
money.
more.
I'll take it.
Success on Yuga, but everyone else is having a little bit of a tougher time rooting out the sort of remaining blight is proving a little bit harder. It's a little bit less obvious about what is and isn't blighted. So Yuga's the only one who continues to just till things, finds blighted soil, uses his knowledge to help things move along. But you're still gonna maybe have to tend to this for one more day. So only one more series of checks, and we'll see where we get.
I'm in it till the end.
Oh,
3 11s in a row. Do I get a prize?
Finally.
Good check for Leodon, Shugo, and Yuga once more. And with the efforts of the rest of you, Leodon sort of starting to get the hang of things, starting to learn more about the tea sort of plants. You're all able to do enough that you're pretty sure you have completely wiped out this blight on the tea plants at the Leshy Salon. The very grateful mountain summit grass rushes up to you all, thanking you, and I greatly promise that you will have all the tea that you would ever need for the tea house. I remember back when it was ran a few years ago, and it was one of my favorite places. It was almost a place for not just the people of the town to gather, but its tranquility and easy air even attracted the spirits somewhat, and for those of us who can sense their presence, the air was abuzz. Perhaps one day it will return to that feeling. I hope to feel it again, so do your best.
Oh, I shall. And I'm sure with the help of my friends, we're gonna get to that point and go even further beyond.
I do greatly hope so. Well, I'm going to go and get this all packaged up and, continue to grow them, of course. They're not ready yet, but once the tea house is ready, I feel like ours will be ready as well. And for the purpose of it, you guys gain 20 experience points and a supply of tea.
we're saved.
Excellent. Oops, I'm the Leshy Salon now.
Nope, yep. By the way, that day passes, and it is Oath Day on Nerastus High Summer, that you awaken once more. There is another matter, as actually, Yuga,
Hi.
as you're walking through the streets of the Mercantile District, you come across a few workers sort of standing outside of the Woodcarvers Guild, listening to, well, the proprietor of the Woodcarvers Guild, that being... Actually, no, it's not the Industrial District, it is the... What the heck is that? Yes, the Mercantile District, which is up to the north here. But still, you're walking around, seeing if anybody... You're checking in on some of the families of those buried. And you see young Yun Mong-un, the head woodcarver of the Woodcarvers Guild, speaking to many of the workers. This isn't a bad idea, you have to understand. I know those South Bankers would disagree with us, but they don't have to know. Those groves, they've been there forever, and right now, I don't think it matters if our lives are at stake. That Peachwood would be much better used in our hands to fashion weapons. That would... Well, you know what it does. It slices the spirit as much as the flesh. Well, when we anger the spirit, if we cut down their groves, those sacred groves. Oh, that's just superstition. You wouldn't worry about that. Not now. Not when we are being attacked. In fact, as she looks across the way at, well, we'll say your whole group, I think the heroes of Willowshore would agree with us. Wouldn't you? Don't you need weapons? Fight back at the spirits that would haunt us.
I look around at the other three of us, and
But
this
not...
this group.
Not just weapons, by the way. I come from a long family line of Fulu crafters. And you guys know Fulus as these like little paper or wood icons that are hung from your bodies or on buildings and such that ward off spirits. If they are made from Peachwood, they are even more potent. I can create for you, and for many of the homes around here, wards that would protect us from these spiritual incursions. Wouldn't you say that's worthwhile, especially after what happened for the attack?
I'd say it's more than worthwhile. I'd say it's something we should look into.
Is there any real veracity in these claims about the Peachwood being particularly good for this?
You can roll a nature check.
Can I roll an occultism check?
Or that as well, yeah.
I look at my pals.
Would it not be counterproductive, though, if spirits attack you because of this incursion upon their groves?
That's simply superstition. If those groves are... If the wood of them wards spirits, why would the spirits like them? It's only South Banker traditionalists that would get up in arms about this.
You go like breathes in sharply and like lifts a finger to speak. Now, there is quite possibly a better way to look into this. If there are indeed spirits inhabiting these, perhaps that there would be a way to commune with them. And then we can perhaps see if this is an issue to be concerned about, rather than just make an assumption one way or the other.
Well, if you're going to go out there, you might as well harvest some of it anyway. Only the highest quality branches would be suitable
for creating Fulus. You don't need to chop down the whole grove. Break off a few branches here and there. Just making sure you're not killing the trees when you do that, of course. But that's up to you to do. Trust me, though. It would be very useful for you.
It would be. However, I must stress that you look back upon the past month. The past month. 2 months even, at this point. Spirits are absolutely real. We know this. We have irrefutable proof.
We all know
need
this.
To be cautious.
That is why I'm asking you to get the material that wards them off.
Not all spirits need to be warded. Some are benevolent. Some are neutral.
And where were they when the town was attacked?
Probably keeping us alive.
Do what you will. Gather the material or not. You're probably the only ones who would be daring enough to do this. But you would have to find them first too. Nobody really remembers where all those Peachwood groves are. Maybe some of the older folks do. Could ask around.
We can look into it, but I cannot make any promises that we will actually get the wood.
You or don't. Doesn't bother me. Not too much, anyway. Alright, we have work to do. Let's get back to it. She rushes all of her workers inside to, well, make more building material for the homes that need it.
I wonder if the wood needs to be alive to be used. Maybe we can find a fallen tree or something.
Fallen branches are not terribly hard to find.
Doran Bowsen, calm me down. I wish to swear, and I will also wish to avoid doing so.
Separate the syllables. Say them one at a time.
It. Oh, that felt good.
No, we should think about this. It's possible we could ward specific spirits. I doubt all spirits are warded by Peachwood.
Roll
We
me
should
a,
research.
yeah, you can roll me a religion check, actually.
I have that. Let me actually get my character out. I'm like hitting my button and it's like opening up shops. Like, oh no.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. 23.
So you now that you have time to think about it, to mull it over, Peachwood is a powerful spirit warding material, though it is more commonly believed that it wards off specifically evil spirits. The wood seems to be more aligned with the gentle, the kind, the good sort of spirits, and it doesn't seem to ward them off in any way. Only evil spirits. Of course, some of the ignorant people of Northridge might not realize the specifics about it.
I mean, warding off evil spirits doesn't sound bad.
Perhaps not. But you get the impression if many of those in South Bank knew what you were doing to sacred groves, they wouldn't be pleased. So there's that to
Which
consider.
is why we wouldn't I would refuse to do it unless we somehow got the blessing of spirits. Try to find a sustainable way to do it, as well as in that case as well, some buy-in from the South Bank. We would have to do it very responsibly and with permission. And is there any way that we could potentially these Peachwood groves or whatever, are they like known to actually have spirits? Is it possible to like talk to them?
That you're not sure of. People, more recently, in recent times, people generally didn't have any reason to go to the Peachwood Groves. They weren't like taboo, but they were like, that's land for spirits, or that's a place of warding. You shouldn't go there and mess up the wards or something like that, right? So people generally didn't go to them. People really don't know much about them in and of themselves. But it's something to consider. You talk to some people, you know some contacts, you know the leader of South Shore, all that.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad place to start. I think I'll do that if everybody's up for that.
There's no harm in going there, seeing if there are spirits, and perhaps looking for fallen branches.
That being said, I will not do this secretly. If we are absolutely forbidden to do it by those in the know, by those with authority in South Bank, I will refuse. That's why I want to speak with him first.
Then speak to them we must. If it would put your mind at ease, we are not in that much of a rush, but it is something we should look into sooner rather than later.
Especially if we can find a solution that'll satisfy both sides.
Okay, so I'll assume you guys are heading to old Matsuki's estate.
Absolutely.
The estate, well, you remember it being a bustling center of resistance during the attack, but now it seems to be back to just being a, old family's estate, with the grounds being tended to carefully, and a traditional lifestyle being observed within. You're able to gain audience with Shun Matsuki, or Old Matsuki, the 99-year-old, elder of South Shore, basically its leader. People all go to him for advice or blessing, essentially, of their actions. And as you arrive, you take a seat in front of him. He's seated, having his tea. Well, would you look at that? The heroes, or what the town likes to call heroes, have returned.
We're really just ordinary people like everybody else.
That's something I agree with. Back in my day, I knew real heroes.
My eyes go wide.
You take up arms for the people of this town, yes. But it remains to be seen if you are willing to sacrifice everything you are for this town. Now you've dealt with small-time bandits and weak creatures that only terrorize poor folk of a village. Stories I've heard. In fact, Shugo, you know the story of the monastery. Why it is a holy site in the first place. It is the place a true hero fell.
Yuga looks enraptured at the moment.
Far before my time. And admittedly, only the monks truly knew who that hero was. But it is sacred ground as the burial site of a great hero. As far as I'm concerned, they wouldn't build a monastery above your resting place. Not yet, anyway. So keep yourselves humble.
It's true that we haven't really had to sacrifice much about our own selves other than our time and risk our safety. But I will tell you one thing that I will never sacrifice, and that is the safety of this village.
Well, you have a true Willowshore heart. That much is certain. Let's get on to why you're here today. Why have you interrupted my morning tea?
Because we're making the rounds around town, and, well, we overheard a bit of a commotion up in the north. There were a group of people who were talking about Peachwood and how they wished to try to make use of Peachwood for town defenses, such as potentially weapons or wards against evil spirits.
The Peachwood groves. You mean to harvest them?
We don't mean.
I mean to look into.
We want to see if there are spirits, and we want to ask if we can take fallen branches.
It's not the spirits you should be worried about, as he interrupts you. It is the traditions of South Shore that you should be bothered with for even suggesting this idea. You know those groves, 3 of them if I last recall. They have been here long before Willowshore ever existed here. They are part of the reason that this is a safer place in the Spectre Wood than most. They ward off evil spirits. If you were to step foot in them, you would break the sanctity of those places and invite evil spirits into our realm, just as you invite yourselves into the Peachwood Groves.
This is exactly why we came here. We need to know everything to make the best decisions we can make.
I doubt any spirit there would really be bothered with you taking a branch or 2. But you'd best be careful. You tread on ground that no one in this village has dared to tread since its inception. As long as I've been here since the inception of the town, never heard of anyone, well, other than rambunctious children who don't know better, willingly entering those groves, for they know the sanctity of those places. They are not a place for mortals. They are a place to ward away evil spirits. And that is that. I'm just saying, I realize that we are in unprecedented times. We must be flexible. But
What if?
we're not going to be happy with you breaking this taboo.
That's why we're asking about it before jumping into any decisions.
What do you want to know? Specifically.
Do you... how should I word this? So you're saying that from our traditions, you believe that the groves themselves are offering protection to this area?
Yes, the Peachwood. Something about it is sacred. It wards off evil spirits. It's... You must understand, especially you, Yuga. You don't break taboos just out of, disbelief in the taboo.
I agree entirely.
It is more that you don't send ripples into still ponds. You don't break the peace. As long as we don't interfere with those wards, we can be sure that they are fine, that they are still working. As soon as we interfere, that invites chaos. As that is what we mortals always invite to things.
So, if something that wasn't mortal went into one of those groves, it wouldn't be a bad thing.
Jerry's thinking in loopholes now.
It's not
It's
really
not.
a loophole.
It's not something of the law, it's something of nature.
Of course.
I don't think you would appreciate loopholes or being exploited.
I see what you're getting at, though. Shugo, yes, you are more spirit than mortal. Even though you have a mortal's shell, seemingly. Perhaps that is true. Perhaps if it were only Shugo that entered the grove and harvested the material, there wouldn't be as much issue, and in fact, you could convince the townsfolk that no mortal stepped foot there. It's clever, and I don't like people being clever about our traditions. Not necessarily. But it's not me that you should be necessarily worried about. I know that your actions are in the defense of the town. And it seems right now that there are more important matters than worrying about random evil spirits. Especially it seems like whatever is on the outside, even the spirits themselves cannot enter here. We're already protected from them. I just hope that nothing comes in the future.
The fact is, though, that we are surrounded on all sides by a fog wall, plus an even thicker one around the monastery. There could be other incursions.
Yes, that is what I'm concerned about as well. But if
Disrupting the wards could cause serious problems.
If Shugo is careful, I don't believe that a branch or two would break the warding effects of those groves. And since you are producing paper, you don't need a lot. Again, you only need branches here and there. Just don't take too many or you'll kill the tree. And from what I know about Peachwood, old man stuff. From what I know about Peachwood, they don't exactly shed branches very often. You will have to directly harvest from the tree.
Oh.
I was hoping there would be ones on the floor of the forest that we could take. That's unfortunate.
If only it was so easy. I don't believe you'll get that lucky.
Then maybe this isn't worth looking into any further.
It is completely up to you. You don't have to do this if you don't think that it would be very useful to you. You know
It's a
what
fair
Fulus
risk.
are. They're these talismans that may or may not help you. And may or may not help the town. I doubt you could harvest enough to cover the town in Fulus on every home. Very unlikely that. It's probably what those Northridgers do, and what they always do is they only look after themselves. It'd only be the most wealthy who would be able to afford it. That's probably why the Woodcarvers Guild cooked this up. They see an opportunity to sell to the most panicked Northridgers at a premium. And to you, of course, because it would actually help you. Look, it's up to you. I'm not going to interfere.
It's between you and the townsfolk of Southridge as well. So if you could find some way to, like I said, convince them that this was okay because it was only Shugo entering, fine by me.
We have to think about it.
I don't exactly have to like it, but I'm not going to stop you. There is perhaps something if you want to help, and if you want to actually help us, there's something else that you could do, actually.
I'm listening.
There are some worries, especially with us being trapped here, that there won't be enough food to last the winter. Oftentimes we did rely on imports of food during the winter, as we can't always supply ourselves, especially when the, well, crops are bad or something like that. Something bad happens, we're pretty screwed, suffice to say. If you were to, however, there is something that we can do about it. To the north of us, there is an abandoned village, just a farmer's village outside of Willowshore, that should still be within this wall of fog. It's certainly too far away for any of us to have traveled without encountering any danger, so we were going to wait for you to find the time to do it. If you go to that old village expansion and determine if it's viable for planting some emergency crops, that would help us a lot through the winter. It would.
I think that's a fine idea.
Yeah, let me show you where it is on your map. It is up here, to the north.
Ooh.
It's, well, it was, a relatively large grassy area that, unlike the south, wasn't very rocky. And, it had a stream going through it, but the problem with that stream is it's, a seasonal stream. Not exactly the best for year-round crops, and it sort of died off as an idea. People moved back here over time. But it's land that still should be relatively cleared for crop growing, and if we can plant some quick crops, maybe we could get something out of it. If you're up for the task.
I'm absolutely up for the task.
We will make sure that it's safe for anybody to go up there.
Safety, of course, is the primary concern, but you also should spend some time there, perhaps a few days, jotting down viability of certain patches, going through the dirt, checking for, methods and viability and all that stuff. I'm old. I haven't tilled a field in 30 years. Just take your notes. Make sure you spend the time to ensure all the information that a farmer would need for that. You get it.
I think I do get it. I think I could do that.
Very well. If there's nothing else, I would like to get back to my tea.
Thank you very much for speaking to us. I greatly appreciate it.
You are not always welcome, but next time just make sure not to interrupt.
We will attempt to come at a better time.
blame Liaodon. He's supposed to be the tea expert.
Well, I still am.
Now just go. Let the man have his tea. I assume you guys leave. Okay.
I say we go visit this other village spot, get some more goodwill with the people of the South Bank before we pursue the other option more.
Yeah. Part of me, though, is now worried that somebody will just take it into their own hands at some point. Although, with it still being dangerous out and about, maybe that won't happen anytime soon.
Maybe.
Well, we should probably prepare for a few days' journey then, at least.
Of course.
I'm ready to go today.
Me as well. I don't often need much.
Okay. So, you guys have an opportunity to head up in that direction. Since you would be following the roads the most of the way, it would take the better part of the day to get there, through the forest, through the trails that are still left here, and even the old road. And you are able to break out in the clearing and realize you are actually able to go pretty far into it to find these very overgrown ruins that are barely even noticeable. It's more, there's nothing, no walls even standing. There's only foundations and a few like square formations of wood that maybe once were houses, and stone walls here and there that have already crumbled and been overtaken by roots and vines and stuff, denoting different sections of, well, farming patches and such. There certainly was a farming village here, a farming hamlet, perhaps. You're just not sure if, or how it would be viable, or all of that, so you're gonna have to spend a few days here camping out, gathering all the data you would need to return to town with.
In
Stay
preparation
tuned.
for this task, I decided to take this spell with me.
Okay.
So that part's covered.
Yeah, that's very easy. What is that? 6 creatures, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so trivial.
Alright.
Not necessarily delicious, but, you know, one less thing to worry about.
It is nourishing enough. As you guys spend the night here, the next day arrives, and for the purposes of this activity, it's actually 4 hours instead of 8, so you can do 2 activities in one day. And as you might have guessed, farming lore would be certainly helpful here, as well as nature or society, actually, if you're going to take that angle, to start planning out the best methods for starting new crops here, where people would bring their things, how they would sleep here, or stay overnight, or something like that. So it's farming, nature, or society. Go ahead and make your rolls if you want.
I'll definitely be doing farming lore.
No,
Society,
society
yay.
as well.
I'll do nature then. Let's shoot go.
Just trying to start things off.
That's a good way to start things off.
Yeah, especially compared to my 15.
Belzin, your mind is you're quickly put to work, as you've already observed the people of the town, their goings on. You're well suited for the task of organizing them when it comes to something like this. That gives you 2 points. Shugo, take time to appraise the fields, and Leodon, again, you help with the sort of logistics of it all. So in fact, during these first 4 hours, you're actually halfway done, you feel like, with figuring this all out. So if you guys want to do one more round as the rest of the day transpires, go ahead.
Of course.
Not a bad farming roll.
Not bad, but not enough.
Oof.
Bows in, success. The add-on success. The other two fails. You're not quite ready, especially with the farming side of things, to call it a day here. Or rather, finish up your work here, so you're going to have to spend another night. That will advance time once more. But again, waking up the next day, with the birds chirping all around. And actually, I should change the music. Your efforts to sort of aid the town seem to have made the wilderness around here much more safe. And maybe these fog walls are keeping interlopers out too. Might be nice to actually have it.
Love that.
Some bonus rather than minus for having this wall. That being said, go for one more round of checks.
Oh.
Nope.
Natural 20 from the add-on. And a natural 1 from Shookout. For the purposes of it, we'll have those canceled out, and you're able to finish up the appraisals of the fields, which ones would be good to till and put those emergency crops in, which ones not so good, too many rocks and stuff like that, would take too much effort to put them together. As you put all this information together into a comprehensive plan for this old village expansion that luckily is inside the fog wall, one of the only other places that could be farmed in this region. Seemingly can provide just enough aid to the village, or to Willowshore. And as you all clap the dirt off your hands and get ready to leave, I assume you'll spend the rest of the day just making it back to Willowshore.
Sounds good. I have nowhere else to go.
Same.
Okay. It's well into the night before you arrive back, since you spent the first 4 hours doing that stuff in the expansion, or in the hamlet, rather. But you make it back, get into your beds, and sleep after the first week of Erastus comes basically to an end. And for the sake of brevity, you report to old Matsuki, and, well, he graciously thanks you for what you've done. I'll start organizing some of the villagers who, well, have nothing else to do. I'll send some of them up there with a contingent of the guard as well, just to make sure they're safe. This has the potential to help us a lot when winter comes. Thank you. South Bank thanks you. The Northridgers, of course, they won't take notice. They never do of farming things until they run out of food as well.
You should help keep people's moods a little better, in theory.
Well, for now, that's all I have for you as restarting the industry of the town. You probably have the rest of the month to consider what you're going to do about the Peachwood.
Probably nothing at this point. We will see. Sugar will take its leave again.
Sounds good.
Okay. So I'll take your
I don't
leave.
want to bother him too much more about this issue right now.
Give yourselves 20 experience points for what you've done. Help the town, make sure they have enough food for the winter.
What is all of your consensus on these peach trees? Do you think we should just leave them alone?
At this point, I'm reluctant to mess with them at all. Unless we were somehow maybe to find somebody else who's an expert who could say otherwise, but I don't know if we have anything like that.
There would need to be more reason to do so. It's risky. We could anger and create enemies and destroy something that may be warding a greater threat. The town's on a path of recovery, and it would be unwise to make more enemies.
I agree completely. I'm not comfortable with the idea unless we knew for sure that there was a safe way to do so that would not disrupt any warding that might be there.
I think the bigger issue is not whether there is warding or not, but how the South Bank people are going to react.
Correct. If there's unrest in South Bank, that's half of the town. We could fall into ruin just from that alone. As such, I think I'm ready to decide myself. Not for the group, but to give my input. I personally would like to abstain from the Peachwood.
I am inclined to agree. As Bauzin said, it could be warding off something worse already. So simply rocking the boat right now seems like an unwise idea.
I suppose that is our answer then.
Yep. It's not worth causing trouble. We have the lantern that keeps the fog at bay, and we have each other. And that sounds
And the words from the grove itself.
Very well then. You guys have decided. That leaves you with the rest of the month here. It's pretty uneventful, as now that the town is rebuilt, this month people are mostly focusing on returning to, well, the usual cycle of producing resources, getting those resources made into things, putting the business back into the town, the industry back in order, farming, getting going. There's not much else that you guys can help with at this point, now that you've already helped actually with the farming stuff.
Well, there are 2 cathedral-related things that I would like to take care of at some point.
What would those be?
One of them is looking into the dagger and seeing if there's maybe any way to cleanse it, so to speak.
Yes. Okay.
Link it
Fiends.
for chat. Oh, you got it already.
Ah, yes. You
I
head
just deleted
over.
the second one.
Yeah. You head over to the Lady of Souls Cathedral. You present the dagger to Elizeth Condor. Maybe you, in passing, had her look at it before, but now she looks at it one more time. Dagger like this, with the echoes of the souls that it sent on to Our Lady, it could be useful. It could be. But I don't think that the souls, or the reflections, or the remembrances of the souls within, should be striking a vengeful chord. I think you would agree with that.
Of course.
Give me some time with it. I'll see what I can do. Turn the fragments within away from vengeance and more towards justice in Our Lady's name.
Yeah, very well. I will hand it over then.
There are all the rights, even some from my family back in Taldor.
a world away, aren't they? You know, I'm not exactly Tianzian. A little bit
That's
now,
right.
I'm second generation. And, well, Taldor deals a lot more with more physical incarnations of the dead rather than the spiritual. After all, the Eye of Dread is only a few hundred miles north of the Shining Kingdom.
The Eye of Dread?
Where the Lich Tar-Bathon has created an empire out of the Gravelands.
Oh, that sounds so horrible. Yuga's
Yes.
eyes are just lighting up.
I come from a long line of Taldoran priests. And, well, when you are when my mother was the third daughter of a family filled with priests, there's not many stations that are all that interesting and all that detached from the intrigues of the Kingdom of Taldor. So, well, my mother decided to abandon my father and bring us here.
Oh. So that's how it happened.
Unfortunately, it did. She saw his pursuits in politics as an affront to the lady's vision of, well, all souls being equal in the afterlife. So that our work shouldn't be tangled up in the political machinations of the Shining Kingdom of Taldor. As gallant of a nation as it refuses to be, there is a web of intrigue that, well, some would say keeps it all together. Nevertheless, this is much history that you needn't hear. It is a world away, as I have said. It just helps to be reminded that there is a world outside of these walls. And I have a
It's always
father out
exciting
there
to learn more. Yeah.
who, my mother passed years ago. My father, though, there's a likelihood that Our Lady has not met him at her gates just yet. Nevertheless. As long as we hear and witness her blessings, even within these walls, we are still connected to the outside world. The gods have not forgotten us here, even if it seems that everyone else has. And I'll make sure that these souls in this dagger are also assured that they have not been forgotten.
I'd like that very much.
I will teach you these rites, but some things I like to keep as family matters. Specific ones for, unsteady souls like this, well, they're not standard.
I understand.
And of course, there's still much work to do.
Speaking of rights, however,
Yes.
we have no intention to do so currently. But at some point, we may need to deal with the fog surrounding the old monastery. Is
Yes.
there a ritual that might allow us to gain entry when the time comes?
It is something I am not sure of. I would have to dive deep into our records, research. You, perhaps as well, would have to do much research But I think now we should not open the proverbial box.
I agree. I just thought we should be prepared so that when the time comes that we do need to do it, we're ready for it.
I would say give it another month or two before you start pursuing these matters. Make sure that the town is safe and well secured. Especially if you are going to be going on some journey. Right now, it's best that you are close by. Until we are on our footing, until the guards are well stocked and ready to handle any attack.
I agree. I believe there's still much that I might be able to do for the village.
Yes, of course.
Both sides of it, ideally.
Well, until then, come back here whenever you wish to continue your work. And, well, it seems it's going to be a quiet Erastus. Hopefully.
Let's hope so.
That being said, you guys are pretty sure that this month will, as people are saying, be pretty quiet. So for the purposes of things, you all can spend the rest of the month however you choose, earn income being an easy choice, but there are other things you could do with downtime technically. But right now you don't feel like the town is ready for you to start diving into breaking that wall or entering or anything like that, so maybe leave the research until you feel ready.
Does it? I just like to know that the avenue is open to it and that it will be ready for us to look into it when the time comes.
Yes,
so
that seems to be the case.
I accomplished what I wanted, I guess.
Okay. So, for right now, though, let's take a 5-minute break. We'll be back in 5. Thank you guys for being patient. Who are watching.
Good.
Yeah.
We'll be back in a bit. See you a bit. Bye. Or not bye. Just... I need a break. So let's go.
Alright, welcome back, everyone. So, where were we? You guys had just talked to Elizabeth Candora. Talked about the dagger, talked about plans for the future, for breaking down that wall. Town's not ready for it yet, it seems, but plans are made. For the rest of this month, though, things are very quiet. So over that time, you guys can spend the time to earn income, or whatever else other downtime activity you would like to do. So, feel free to tell me.
Income it is.
If you're just doing earn income, just put out the macro. You don't need to specifically announce it. Makes things faster.
How many days are we earning income?
Let's see. 7, 14, 21...
24.
24, yes.
God,
Rest of the
definitely.
month.
I'm gonna re-roll that because I need money.
Yeah, okay. T. Laura the Outdawn. Some money.
I can't think of anything else I need to do other than this.
Money.
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 Okay, that's the Outdawn. Should go bells in. Start advancing the days.
Hmm. Select a character.
Oh yeah, here, I'll pull you out for it. There you go.
Cool. So unless the clinic desperately needs me, it's religion.
Yep. Things have certainly died
Yahoo!
down at the clinic. Extra bit of gold as the month of Aristus, the high summer, goes by. Now you're in the month of Eridus, of course, for Eridin. Or August, for our, idea of things. And as you entered this month, the town has finally gotten back into action for its farming, for its resources, for everything is back in the flow of things. So now people are looking to other matters, spiritual matters, that sort of thing. Oh yeah, you gotta just give yourself the extra SP per day.
7 times 24.
Or yeah. Well, you can look at other people's, and that's 168.
Oh, so it is. Huh.
Yeah. Yes, now that the town's resources farming is back in action, everything's normal essentially. People are looking into more spiritual matters, more defense sort of things. And you start hearing first from some folk about the old Desna shrine. In fact, it is at the milling houses. Where are they again? I forget. Milling houses. Where are they? I'm actually drawing a blank. Where are these? Oh, yes, over here. The paper mill, or no, the grain milling houses and such. The owner of it, as you overhear, Chung-ho, is a devout Desna follower, in fact, and he has been annoyed about some things. Something maybe you could check out?
I'd love to.
Okay. You guys head over to the milling houses. They're much more active than they were at the start of things. Now that some of the grain is starting to filter in, need to be milled, crushed, and all of that. And Chung-ho, leader of everyone, is known to be a good leader for this intense manual labor that people are doing here. Keeps wages stable, snacks handed out to people, all of that. So he can be hard sometimes, but he is also very supportive. And as you approach him, he's finishing sort of talking to some of the workers. Oh, well, to what do I owe the pleasure of meeting you all?
It's a pleasure. We had heard that there may have been some sort of issue over here that had you concerned. And as, well, part of the village, I feel it's our responsibility to at least try to help.
Well, if you're going to be the problem solvers around here, then I won't say no to a gift horse. I'm quite irate about the condition of our town's Desna shrine. You know where it is, right? You are running
My character would know.
Yeah. I feel like they told you when you were running around trying to get the blessings of the gods. The Desna shrine was more of a personal shrine for one of the lumber barons up in the old abandoned estates in the north part of town. It's been languishing there ever since, as some of our delinquent children like to do, go up there and graffiti, take shingles off the roof and all of that. The abandoned estates are a sore sight indeed. But no family here has the income or wealth to even take over management of those, so they've just stayed abandoned. I want you to take that shrine out of there. Put it into more proper spots where people can worship the Lady of the Stars.
It's a fine idea.
Do you have any suggestions of where to place the shrine, then?
I was going to leave that up to you, or whoever was going to go up there. It doesn't bother me as long as it's a decently central location.
You are a worshipper of Desna, though, yes?
That I am, so I could tell you that a place that would be open would certainly be nice, so that the worshippers at the midnight service can gaze at the stars openly and freely. So no tree cover, no roofs over your heads. Open land would do best.
That's wonderful information. Can you think of anything else? Anything else at all that might make good information as far as suitable spots? Or is that about all you can think of?
Well, that's all that matters to our worshippers. Be able to gaze at the stars. Now,
Yeah.
it might be a problem for one side or the other, whether you put it on the Northridge side or the South Bank side. I frankly don't much care for the petty politics of North versus South. But you might have to keep that in mind yourselves.
That's worth thinking about, yes. What side was it currently on again? The north?
Yes, it's in the old abandoned estates in the north.
Right.
Basically directly north of the tea house, in fact.
Huh. All right.
That's all he has for you.
Has anything happened with where the mayor's manor used to be, the governor's house? Or is it still an empty plot?
Still an empty plot. Strangely enough.
If we can't find any place else to put it, I know one place we could.
What if it comes back, though?
That would be quite unfortunate for anybody there.
We don't know how it disappeared. Then we don't know yet whether or not it could reappear. So I'm really hesitant to do anything with that land yet.
You do make a good point. There's plenty of other places that could be put. Why don't we go get the thing first?
At the very least, yes, we should assess the shrine in its current condition so we understand what exactly we're working with.
And that will help us determine where we could put it and where
Right.
we should put it.
Precisely.
Okay.
So let's go.
Set up there, towards the abandoned estates. And it is as he described. The brickwork is faltering. It's definitely a different style than the more like paper house sort of setup that most of this is. Though Northridge has much more brickwork as well. And yeah, it's all derelict. There's graffiti here and there. Things smashed. You know, when some delinquent wants to break things, they come here. All that sort of thing. So it's destroyed. And at the center of one of the courtyards, you eventually do find the Desna shrine there. Still seemingly in pretty good condition, being made of sort of this silver gilded metal, depicting sort of constellations and night skies and stuff like that. But as you arrive and take a closer look at the shrine, amongst the sort of weeds that have overgrown it here and there, a faint glow begins. Seemingly out of
That's
nowhere.
interesting. Is it coming from the shrine itself?
Not seemingly the shrine itself, some small objects underneath the weeds is starting to glow brighter and brighter and blue.
Ooh.
Shugo's gonna go fetch whatever it is that's glowing.
Let's be careful.
It's probably nothing to worry about.
As you go up to it, pulling more of the weeds aside, a strange little runic structure sort of comes to a stand out of the weeds. And as its voice speaks, the runes glow brighter, like sort of with the tone of their voice. And it speaks out, "You dare! You dare! Why do you dare? You break our slumber. My slumber here."
We will be gone soon enough, and then you will have all the peace and quiet you want.
What are you doing here? Why are you here?
This is a place of worship, or former one, where those who worship at the shrine, I say pointing toward the shrine of Desna, need to relocate this shrine to fix it up and rebuild it at a spot that's better for seeing the stars above at night.
I know this is a shrine. Shrine to the goddess of the stars. Yes. Can you not see easily the stars from this courtyard? It is open, easy, but it is also quiet.
Save for those strange little creatures that come here breaking things sometimes in the night.
Creatures?
Your kind. But they are smaller. I believe you call them children.
Oh.
The shrine is long forgotten here. We plan to move it to a place where it will be seen by more.
You would break my peace. The peace of this shrine, the peace it deserves. I am its protector.
I had no idea.
I am Shikigami, protector of small works. But still, very important. If you remove it from here, how can I know your people won't disrespect it? The beauty of the craftsmanship in this altar.
Suppose we don't have that guarantee yet.
Roll a diplomacy check.
You could always come with the shrine if you wish.
I would not leave the shrine wherever it would go. But I remain unconvinced. You tell me you don't have an answer, then you don't have an answer. I will remain here with the shrine, and you will not move it. You have guaranteed
Maybe
nothing.
Maybe moving the shrine isn't the answer then.
Perhaps making the path to the shrine more clear, less tricky.
This location really isn't that bad. It's not too far from the bridge.
Do some.
It's out of the way of the hustle and bustle of the actual industrial part of town. It's really not that bad. It could just maybe use some real care.
Perhaps, yeah.
So you've offered something new. Roll a diplomacy check once more.
Nope. Hero.
Okay.
Better.
If you will not move it, then I will be happy. Your people will come, then you say you will clear these grounds?
We can clean up around here, make sure that no little ones come and destroy things.
Much work to be done then. But fine. I will allow it. To increase the beauty here would command more respect for this work.
I agree entirely. Now that I see this for myself, I almost feel guilty for not really coming here in the past. We could do something with this.
Do it. I will remain by its side.
For the purpose of things, then, if you guys want to start clearing the grounds here, roll an athletics check. Or if you want to, of course, make it a little bit more of a Desna worship spot, you can roll a religion check.
I'll do religion. My religion's 10 points higher than athletics.
Both of these activities, of course, will aid in this becoming a new shrine for Desna, or location that's better.
Love that. Oof.
Shugo very much channeling his ability to just rip and tear into things. He moves beams that have been crashed here, sweeps away the floor with his tail. Yeah. Sometimes gets caught in doorways as he's carrying beams in his jaws because, you know, it's too long. He has to sort of bend his neck a little bit. But otherwise, very good work. That's a critical success on that. Yuga, not doing all that much. You don't know much about Desna, and you don't want to do it incorrectly, but Leodon is a little bit more competent and knowledgeable about the Lady of Stars, dreams and such. So he helps over these 4 hours, we'll say, because that's the amount of time that these checks take. And you have time today for one more round if you guys would like, and you feel like you're almost finished actually clearing the place out.
I would like to. I'm emboldened by all this.
I shall contribute.
Mm-hmm. You got critical success, and again, Shugo, critical success. As you guys have cleared this place out, it's become less of a dilapidated building and more of a managed historical site that also has Desna's shrine within its courtyard. Free and open to the stars, vines have been taken down that would obscure vision, but also things are also allowed to stay as to the artistic sort of makeup of this place. And you've done a very good job of it. You feel like this now isn't going to be a target for people to just take out their anger on it or anything like that. And the only problem is you don't know if anybody in town is going to continue the upkeep here. You don't know of a Desna worshipper other than the milling house leader, and he seems quite busy in those matters. Still, though, it's cleared. It's ready to be worshipped at with a Shikigami that is okay with all of this as well. So you feel like you've gotten your job done.
For the most part.
We'll have to keep an eye on, see if we find any other Desna worshippers.
Maybe
I
so.
don't think we've heard of any others yet.
I want to bring information about this, news about the whole situation to the leader of the Millers. I want to tell him all about the Shikigami and about the issues with the children. And then see maybe if he knows anything about other Desnans.
Alright. It is late today, so you guys probably will need to go to rest before you go ahead and do that. So, we'll say, for the sake of brevity, day passes, you guys head back to the milling houses. Oh, you returned. How'd it go? I don't see the shrine with you.
Right. As it turns out, as has been the tradition these days, it was a lot more complicated than we expected, and it turns out it was being watched over by a Shikigami who really, really needed the shrine to stay where it was. So we learned a couple of things. One was that apparently some children had been defacing the place. And two, it's really not a bad location in general. It's not far from the bridge. It's very easily accessible to both sides. I mean, slightly more accessible to the north, of course, but it's not terribly bad. So we spent the entire day cleaning up the site, tending to it. It's looking so much better now. I really think you should see it.
I'm sure I'll find the time. We're very busy here. But I will take your word for it. I will admit I didn't expect this outcome, but if you say there's a Shikigami there, it would be unwise to draw its unrest, especially if we are to worship at the shrine it has embedded itself into. If you say it's been cleaned up and, made to be a proper worship site, maybe I can find one of the flock of Desna, those who worship in this town, one perhaps who's out of a job at one place, to become its tender. And I don't think that anyone
Wonderful.
will complain that the abandoned estate has become, well, a place of worship to Desna. Nobody was using it anyway. And nobody liked the old Longwall administrators around here.
That's right.
Very well. Thank you for your efforts. South Shore also thanks you. For that, give yourselves 20 experience points.
Yay.
Alright. As for the remaining time in this month, I'm going to say this might be a good time to stop, as
Sure.
it would be better to culminate things for the summer, the whole summer, next session. So you guys are starting to feel things out, starting to, well, prepare for the fall months. I think you guys have pretty much gone through everything you needed to in order to help the town get back on its feet, both physically, spiritually, food-wise, and all that. And it's been a good time to do some downtime activity, get your gold up a little bit and all that, and we can get off to the races next time. I know it's getting very late for a lot of you, and some of you are getting very quiet, so I think it's a good time to stop.
Yeah, probably.
This was nice. I honestly,
It's nice to have a
personally
chill
really
session.
liked it.
Yeah, after all of what happened the other sessions, it'll be a downtime one for certain. But yeah, those of you watching, thank you for watching. I know it's been a bit of a more quiet, peaceful session, but you have to have those sometimes to give context to the more warlike ones. And trust me, as soon as you guys start heading out towards that wall of ghosts, things will change. Things will get a little bit more messy, as they always tend to do. That being said, though, thank you guys for watching. I do have maps on my Patreon, patreon.com/KoboldDM. I have maps for supplementing Kingmaker, Outlaws of Alkenstar, and, of course, Season of Ghosts that I use in all of those campaigns. About 300 maps at this point in the whole package, as well as the homebrew maps for the upper tier that we used for the homebrew campaign earlier. That being said, thank you guys for watching. We're going to head off pretty quickly here, so see y'all next week.
Alrighty, see you guys next week.
See y'all.